Hey, this is WZRD Chicago 88.3 FM. And we have with us, all the way from Brooklyn, Larry Lawrence. He is a comic. Hello, Larry.
Hello, nice to be here in Chicago with you.
Yes, wonderful to have you. So,
Thank you.
Larry, is that your stage name, Larry Lawrence?
That is my stage name.
Uh,
Yes.
okay. And were you how long have you been doing comedy?
It'll be 2 years this week.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
And what was your start? Did you have any training at all? What interested you in comedy?
Okay. I have no training other than I have a sense of humor.
Mhm.
Like a lot of my friends, we grew up with a sense of humor. It's a kind sense of humor, it's a clean sense of humor. And we joke around and make fun and put ourselves down. I always had a sense of humor. And uh, people would say to me, you should do stand up. And I would say, no, that's very different than being funny. Stand up is performing, stand up is writing, stand up is vulnerable. Stand up, you could bomb, you could have silence, you could get heckled, there could be a drunk, it could be a mistake. So
Mhm.
I never did. I've given toasts. I've been funny. Things like that, but I never did stand-up comedy until July 31st will be 2 years. Yes,
Mhm. And what's so special about July 31st?
that was the first day I performed 2 years ago,
Okay.
2023.
And then what made you choose to go that route?
Well, I was retired and I developed this illness, and I was urged by my son-in-law, "Why don't you do it?" I had time on my hands. I could write, and I started researching where there open mics, meaning bars that have open mic nights where anybody can perform. And I found a few, and I got the courage up, and I'm much better now. Like anything else, over time you get better, you learn. So there's no schooling, but I learn. I stay the whole night. I don't leave early. I listen and learn from other performers, men and women. I know what I like. I know it doesn't work for me. And my confidence level increased. My presentation style improved. My ability to not just tell a story, but have a punchline that goes with it, and learn how to pause. And it's become a lot of fun. I don't make any money, but I'm not looking. That's not the point. It's a hobby, and it helps me with my health, both mentally as well as physically.
Mhm. Are you
So
able
now I'm doing it a lot.
mhm. Are you able to describe with us your health problem and how actually performing and interacting with people helps you?
Yeah. Well, I've always been relatively healthy, and I still feel healthy and strong. But I developed a brain illness called Lewy, Lewy, body dementia. So, as I'm sure you know, there's many forms of dementia, and Lewy bodies is uh, one of the popular ones, and it's progressive. And I strongly believe that my comedy is preventing it from progressing. I walk to every performance, so I'm walking. That's good exercise. I enjoy it. There's a social component, even though I'm 72 and I'll be 73 in October, so I'm much closer to 73. Most of the performers are half my age or less, so it keeps me youthful, and they accept me as one of the performers. It's not an issue, except at the end of the night where they stay and maybe have a few drinks, I'm out the door walking home, you know.
Mm. Do you have to be careful with your diet? No drinking? Do you have to be mindful of all whatever you put into your body?
I do. I am. I do not drink ever. I'm on a bunch of medication. I never did enjoy drinking to begin with. I lived a clean life, and I've drank, but not in many, many, many years. It was never a problem. Um, but now I can't. And even the performers are required to buy a drink to perform. So I buy ginger ale.
Mm. What about the Lewy body dementia? Does that affect the body or does it also affect the brain?
Well, it's a brain illness, but it affects many way affects me in many ways,
Mm.
brain and body. I have a lot of how I describe it, annoying symptoms. I have no pain whatsoever. Thank God, right? So my issues, I have some memory issues. I have a runny nose. You might even see me. I always have a tissue nearby. Runny nose often. My hearing is not as good. We're not sure if that's Lewy body dementia or I'm getting older. My sense of smell is very weak. Uh, I have issues, if you don't mind it, like constipation kind of issues. Um, and prob this oh, I have delusions. It's not hallucination so much. I could look at a picture and it starts to move like a video, but it's not frightening. It's strange.
Well,
It's the brain.
actually, it depends on the context and how you use it. Sometimes, if you're able to see that, that might actually be it might lend to creativity when you will see things in a different way, and it might
Maybe.
help you.
Well, I'll see a woman dancing in the Victorian era, with the dress and the hat, and then it'll turn into a dog. I mean, they're not frightening. It's like watching a television show for me. Um, but when I was first diagnosed, it was serious in that there are chemicals in my brain that became depleted. So during our REM cycle of sleep, we are virtually paralyzed and we don't act out our dreams. So I was having horrendous dreams and acting them out. I injured my wife. I had many black eyes, cuts, bruises, broken bones, and broken furniture. I'd be standing on the bed, but the dangerous part, falling or jumping off of a bed with your eyes closed because you're asleep, you're very vulnerable. Your instinct is to put your hands out. Like if you trip on the sidewalk, we just normally try to protect our head, our face, our teeth, our eyes. I was very vulnerable in getting cut. And they call that, and breaking lamps. They call that REM sleep behavioral disorder. REM, rapid eye movement. And that's a telltale sign in many cases that you're headed for Lewy body dementia. It was one of the ways to diagnose it, but it doesn't happen anymore.
Is you're doing comedy? Does that help stave it off, or is it the medicine?
It's the medicine. I'm on a sedative every night, a controlled substance sedative that I must take. And, I can still dream, but I used to dream of I'm falling off of a cliff. I'm in the air, going down. Am I going to hit the water or the cliff or what? Or I'd be in a fist fight with five big men against me. I don't know them. And it's frightening. But this medication works like a charm. I would never, ever forget to take it.
So are you able to get restful sleep now with the sedative?
Yeah. I also wear a, CPAP machine. Separately, I have uh, a sleep disorder, sleep apnea. That helps me sleep better. And this pill, I take it usually Eastern time at between about 8:30, between 8 and 9, and I'm asleep within 2 hours,
Mhm.
and it helps a lot. So I live a normal life with these pills. And the other uncomfortable example of the Lewy body dementia, the medical term is orthostatic hypotension, which is low blood pressure when not moving. So I'm a walker. For example, I walked 8 miles yesterday for exercise, and I could do that. However, if I run into you to talk, it's difficult to stop and talk. And I'm going to stand up for a moment and show you what I end up having to do is I'm leaning over now with my hands on top of my knees to bring the blood flow back down into my brain. Or if I'm in my own elevator alone, my hands are on my knees or I'm leaning on the wall. But if I'm moving, my blood pressure is moving. And they just tried me on a new drug, and I think it's helping. It's for low, I have low blood pressure, terribly low. It's like dangerously low. Not in a real sense. I don't need to be in the hospital, but it's much lower than normal blood pressure.
And that's a result of Lewy body dementia?
100%. And
When
there's
you,
no cure for any of this.
Mhm. And when you, uh, what did your doctors suggest interacting with the public before you did the comedy?
They wanted me to keep my mind sharp
Mhm.
and exercise, uh, eat well, be positive, because this is the kind of illness that could progress quickly and affect life expectancy or not. So I took it upon myself to do what I could do. My weight is good. I exercise. I eat well. I have a lot of support. I'm in a support group with other people like me, a Zoom support group. Um, and the comedy is big. And when I told them, they didn't say do comedy. When I told the various doctors, they said, fantastic, keep it up, uh, do more of it. You're writing, you're thinking, you're performing. The adrenaline is flowing, it's exciting. And on all of that is true. I look forward to doing it. And now I'm doing it uh, 3, 4 times a week, sometimes more than one in the same night.
At a different venue or at the same venue? You just request to.
No, I'm on my way to another venue within walking distance.
Mhm. Wow.
And
So when you,
I've performed in 8 different venues in Brooklyn. I'm not interested in making it to the big time, like the younger ones, and going into Manhattan and trying to be seen and get an agent. This is for my health and my enjoyment. Um, and I have no plans on stopping. And it's not that hard to have material because when you live a full life, I'm 72, almost 73. There's so much to review from your childhood, from school, from relationships, from jobs, and now you add in current events or things you notice in the street or in the elevator. And I will take my phone. Here's my phone. And when I think of something, I will text myself just 2 or 3 words. Woman in elevator. And that'll click at night. I could write something up about something I remember about a dog or an elevator or a child or uh, some outfit I saw, some outrageous outfit someone was wearing.
does
And
that
then
happen a
this,
lot?
what?
Does that happen a lot? The outrageous
Yeah.
outfits.
Oh, yeah, in Brooklyn? Oh, yeah. It's normal to be outrageous in Brooklyn.
That's what I thought. So
Uh,
when did you uh, were you a spectator at a lot of the comedy the other when other performers were performing? Did you enjoy this before you were diagnosed? Comedy.
no, no. I've been to, on occasion, comedy shows, and it was always the same 2 thoughts. I People like to, it's these are bars. You have to be 21 and over, and there's a lot of dirty humor. I don't, I don't mean to come across as judgmental. It just doesn't do it for me. To me, it's not clever. What's clever is to think of something and have a twist at the end. Like I made up a joke the other day that I had nicknames when I was a child. Didn't we all? And I wore glasses when I was 4 years old. So one of my nicknames when I was young was Four Eyes. And then I'll say, I can't believe my mother called me that. So that twist is what gets them to laugh at it.
Mhm.
That of course my mother never did that. All right. Um, so there were 2 things I didn't really enjoy about the comedy clubs. Is one is I thought it was uh, a shortcut to comedy by talking about sex or cursing or making fun of someone's appearance or disability. It's not my thing. And the other thing is I'm there at a comedy club thinking I'm funnier. They're up there. I'm funnier. But I had a full-time career, and it takes a lot to do comedy because it's mostly at night and late nights. There are nights I come home at midnight, and that's fine. I'm walking in the streets of Brooklyn all by myself. I'm ready, no problems. And I had to walk, and I had to smell danger. I've never come across a problem. I'm 6'1", that doesn't hurt. I walk fast, that doesn't hurt. And if I feel something, I cross the street ahead of time, but nothing's ever happened. Um, but it's part of the process is the walk. It's very important to me, my thinking, clearing my head, and the physical exercise. But to answer the question is again is at the clubs they're very racy. It could be anti-Semitic. It could be anti-race, anti-religion, and people laugh, and they have the right to. And sometimes I even can laugh. And the other reason being, I'm funnier. I'm a funny guy. I was always a funny guy in school, and my friends, and at home. And then when I read that it's on every top 10 list that girls like about guys, I'm really going to pour it on with humor. Meet girls that way. You know, it's not all about a nice car or, or money. People want to laugh. People want to laugh. So,
Well, if you're truly funny, that shows that there's intelligence in
yeah,
you. So that's very important. And uh, true intelligence actually stems from a kind heart because anybody who uses their intelligence for nefarious reasons really isn't that intelligent at all. So,
I, I really appreciate you saying that. Um, I went to good schools and I did well in the good schools. I have a master's degree in social work, and I was a psychiatric social worker. I worked in agencies, and then I cut back and opened a private practice. Then I completely cut back from working and only did the private practice for my last at least 30 or 35 years of work until it was unfair. I could no longer do that kind of work as I was going through mind changes and I was getting sleepy until they were able to correct a lot of this. So at I was 68 when I retired, and I'm not complaining about that. And we're able to manage, and we pay our bills. We, we we're not jet setters. We don't need to be. And if we want, if something breaks, we could buy a new one. We could buy our clothing. We could go on a flight, and that's to me, that's wealth.
because the cost of living in Brooklyn is relatively high, right?
Yes,
Mhm. But
we we it is, but we were fortunate in that over the years we saved money and we purchased a co-op apartment in a building that's very safe. It's got a 24-hour rotation of doormen, and it's in a beautiful cultural area. And I've been to Chicago. So, like you have the Natural History, for example, Museum and the Shed Aquarium, and we have the Brooklyn Museum across the street and the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens across the street, and the number one library of Brooklyn, which does a lot of performances and lectures. We have a zoo right, maybe a half a mile away. We have the subway. You have a subway, right? We have a
yes,
subway.
yes, we do.
It's in front of our building.
Oh my goodness. That's so
Yeah.
convenient, but you walk.
Well, but sometimes, if we go into Manhattan, we have got to take the subway or certain areas. We also picked an area. We have two children and five grandchildren, and one of our children, our daughter, lives not far. It's a maybe 30-minute walk. So we're able to visit and see her husband and three of our five grandchildren. But to visit the others, I don't know how well you know New York. They're in Westchester County. So for that, we have to take a subway to a train, and they meet us at the station. So
What in your background contributes more the most to your creativity for your comedy work?
another great question. Probably growing up feeling without not a lot of confidence and low self-esteem, fears, anxieties, difficulty in talking to girls. I always had friends, a shyness. I didn't like to raise my hand in class, and I knew the answers. And then sometimes the teachers would call on the ones not raising, like me, and I remained silent. Then they would get disgusted and move on to someone else. So uh, I was babied. I had a good childhood. My parents were fine. It was an intact family, but I was the baby and treated like a baby. I have two older sisters. Um, but what helped me was I got a job in college in a store, a retail store that sold school supplies and office supplies in Manhattan. And that's when my personality became more open and talking to people from all races and religions, ages, uh, gay community. It was near Chinatown, the Asian community, uh, celebrities, attorneys from it was right by the courthouse. And I had to deal with people. I'm working at a cash register, I'm working on the floor. And the boss, may he rest in peace, I learned a lot about from his personality about how to be more outgoing. And then my social life took off, and my confidence took off, and my education, and I did well at work. I learned how to do public speaking, which is a big fear. It's on everyone's top 10 list of fears, right? Well,
Why did you decide to learn public speaking?
because in order to get a certain job I wanted, it was required. And at the interview, the boss said, "How do you feel about public speaking?" Oh, fine, no problem. I was frightened, yet I had to do a lot of it. And in the audience, like let's say it was a PTA, a parents association, or a health class, or in a school, they wouldn't know of my anxiety. I masked it very well.
Did they teach you in class to mask anxiety?
No, but we took some courses in public speaking, which we learned some tricks, to be prepared and walk around. I walk around when I perform. I walk around slowly. One reason is I like to get close to the people and make sure they're listening and not on their phone. And also because it helps me with my low blood pressure. So now, give me a microphone. I'm ready. I'm just we're having a conversation. I don't have any anxiety about this, even though I know it's uh, being videotaped and radioed, and I like that. I'm happy about that. It doesn't concern me in any way. I'm just having a conversation with a nice, intelligent woman. That's how I look at it.
When you go on the stage in the beginning, did you have any stage fright? Or since you had this good background, so many years of working with people, did you have any qualms about the first time that you were on stage and performing?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But once you get up there and you're standing, it's like a teacher standing and everyone is sitting. You see everybody and you hear a laugh. The first laugh, it calms you down. And there were times, doesn't happen so much anymore. You're not called randomly. Like, you know when it's your turn, they'll call out 4 or 5 names, like one group at a time. Usually there's 20, 25 performers. So you got a heads up when it's going to be a turn. And sometimes I would notice, like when I go next, or maybe in 2 people from now, I'm looking at my leg. My leg would shake uncontrollably. I would put my hands on top, but it would soon go away. And I have notes with me that I'd be brushing up my notes, uh, and I would bring a pad with me up to the microphone area, place it near me with my reading glasses. Here they are, and a bottle of water. So I'm ready if I need some water. Uh, there's always a stool nearby. I've never needed it, but I know it's there. But when I'm up there, and it's usually 5 or 6 minutes, although I've done some for one for 30, many for 15 and 10, but mostly it's 5, 6 minutes. Um, it's a breeze. It goes so quickly. Uh, and I get a little sad when it ends, but my time is up.
Do
And
you
then I
find it?
stay and listen to the others out of respect, to support them and to learn from them.
What was the most important thing that you learned from someone else, your fellow performer?
Oh, okay. Uh, I would say material is very personal, and I would never use someone else's material, and I would never go on the internet and look at old material of comedians from the past or current. I stay away from that. I don't want to do that. But it's what I notice mostly is presentation. So simple things. This one guy, like the way he scratches his head, it just makes it so real. Or the way people pause. Or some people will laugh along with themselves. I like that, but I can't do that. I keep a straight face.
Why not? Why can't you do that?
I don't know. It's just part of my uh style is and it was always that way. I made a lot of jokes in my life with a straight face, which made it funnier. I like when people do walk around a little bit, but very few. I don't like when people are too colorful, too much. So that's fine for them, but I pay attention to that. That doesn't work for me. That's a little too much. Um, uh, I always hold the microphone. That gives me some security. So I walk with the microphone instead of keeping it in the stand and standing. This way I get to walk. So that's it. I watch what other people do and pick up on what I like, their timing, their presentation, even how they dress, which sometimes is good and sometimes it's not. Women have it's a different thing with the women. They dress nicer, they're flashier, they're more colorful, but they could be filthy too. They can be. They can be what they call dark humor, dirty humor, blue humor. That's fine. Again, no judgment. And I would never say this to them, like, why don't you just talk about going to the dentist or or a doctor's appointment you had where you had to wait so long in the waiting room and what goes on in the waiting room. Uh, there's so much out there. And I appreciate that you said you need intelligence. And I always have been felt, I hope I don't sound full of myself. I'm very aware, very observant, and I find the humor in things, but I would never laugh if somebody fell on the street. I would pick them up, and I've done that. That's who I am. There's nothing funny about anti-Semitism, racism of any kind, LGBTQ issues, and we have a large population of everything that perform. There's a gay population, there's a black population, there's a Latino population, there's an Asian population, there's Caucasian. It's a little bit of everything, and it's just not necessary to resort to that when there's so much else to think about. Um, Political humor is tricky, and it's not tricky. I don't want to tell you why I could say that as for someone who lives in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And it's safe to identify yourself as a liberal in Brooklyn. It's safe to make fun, if you want to, of any political figure, including our president. And people enjoy that because it's a good outlet for people. Brooklyn is Democratic overwhelmingly, as is New York City, the whole city of New York. Well, most of it, I should say. Upstate New York's a little different, but where we live, I don't ever see a MAGA hat, for example. I can't speak for Chicago, but I think I have a good idea that you don't see any MAGA hats in Chicago.
Very rare.
Right, right. So it's safe to use that kind of political humor, and there's plenty of it out there. Just turn on the news.
When you're doing your comedy, do you ever select an audience member and go up and seem as if you're talking with them? Do you ever get that kind of inspiration?
I had made a decision. Another great question. I had made a decision that I would never bother anybody, intimidate. It's probably a gift to be able to improvise like that. Like, you'll see, so where are you from? Oh, I'm from Chicago. Oh, what do I do after that? Oh, that's in Illinois. Oh, that's where Al Capone was. The Chicago Cubs. I don't wouldn't even know what to do with that. But that's not the point. I have material more than I need. I always have more than I need that I never get to. I have it for the next time. But uh, I don't want to make people uncomfortable. Like a teacher calling on me when I was in middle school, junior high school, we call it, um, even when I knew the answer. However, I might come up to someone and say, "Do you think I have a high forehead?" You know, something obvious like that, and they giggle. They giggle. So that's enjoyable to me, but it's never a back and forth. Some people do that. Oh, I see there's some newcomers here. We have guests here that haven't been here before. Where are you from? How did you hear about this? Have you ever performed? And that's fine. It's very entertaining, but we're unique to ourselves.
Have you
There's no two people alike, and there's no two performers alike.
have you made friends with any of those fellow performers? Because I'm sure that you see them again often since you're so active on the scene?
Yeah, keep in mind I'm doubled most of their ages. They'll often tell a story. Oh, my father turned 66 last week, and I'm thinking I'm several years older than their father. But they accept me. Um, I am outgoing and supportive, and I get there early and I greet people. How you doing? What's going on? How was your week? How was your day? Um, are you performing anywhere else later or tomorrow? And so friends, as I said earlier, uh, they tend to stay and I tend to leave. But funny you should ask me because one person recently, what is today? Monday, Saturday, 2 days ago, my wife and I were at his wedding. He's 36, a better performer than I am. He's in Manhattan now,
Mm.
trying to make it. I don't even see him that much, but I would see him once or twice a week. And his wife, who was 2 days ago his fiance, would come to watch. So I got very friendly with them, and they invited us to their wedding.
Mm. Oh, congratulations to them.
They're a
What
fun
about
couple.
your, yes, what about your material? Do you keep on changing it or do you sometimes rework old material?
So how do I best answer that? It's hard to keep coming up with fresh material, but I do my best. I always have fresh. At the rare times I repeat, uh, I change it. It's a similar story with a different end, a different punchline, or a different presentation of it, or a different order of the story, or I'll walk more, or I'll walk less. But there are people, and it's okay to repeat a story. These are, it's called an open mic where you're working on material, and it's okay to rework it. But I prefer not to. So actually, this was a compliment I got once. Someone said to me, his name is Elliot. He said to me, "You never repeat material." Well, I said to him because I'm older. Well, I'm retired. I write and I observe, and I prefer not to if I don't have to.
What about when you're walking? Is there oftentimes inspiration comes to you while you're walking? Actually, when do you get the most inspiration?
In several ways. Walking in, we have a beautiful park. You've heard of Central Park in Manhattan, of course. Well, the same people who built Central Park built a beautiful park here in Brooklyn called Prospect Park. That's where I walk, and I see people and bicyclists and families and dogs. I get inspiration. The building we live in is it's two buildings. They're connected. One has 16 floors, the other is 15. So we have 184 apartments. So there's a lot of activity in the lobby to notice. Um, I get inspiration from that. I get inspiration when I'm falling asleep. I remember things. I'll actually flick the light on and write some. I keep paper and pen right near me to write it down. Uh, Sometimes from the news, sometimes from my grandchildren or other relatives or friends. And they would say, "Hey, here's an idea I have. What do you think of this?" And I always say it's funny. I don't know if I could work it in, but it's funny.
So when you, of course, you're always working toward a punchline. Do you add a moral aspect to the punchline as well? Does it, if you do, does it come naturally, or do you actually work so that there's a moral twist to your story?
I don't know if there's a moral, but there's an ending that's gonna make sense, and it could be self-deprecating. My age, my my high forehead. Um, I will use my mother, who passed away in 2012. But you know what? She would love it. She passed away way before any of this. But I will tell people she's why I do comedy, trying to deal with some of the things I had to deal with her. And she wasn't not a terrible woman. I was never hit. I was never scolded. I was never grounded. I did my homework, never been in trouble, never suspended, never arrested, nothing like that. Um, but I like to use my mother as a butt of jokes. One of my sisters likes it, the other does not.
Mhm.
That's okay.
Mhm.
It's humor. It's meant, life is tough. It's a tough world right now. New York is expensive, and Chicago has its issues. We all know. We love Chicago here in New York. We've all been to Chicago. I'm actually going to Chicago in September
Oh,
with a friend. We're going to see. We're going to Wrigley Field for a few games.
oh, okay.
But I've been to Chicago. It's a great city, and but it's a tough world nationally, internationally. There's wars, and I find that performing comedy is important for a lot of people to hear it. And I'm just one of many, many, many people who do it. I don't know a lot of people outside of the circle of performers. It's not a very popular avocation, but it's it's more and more bars are devoting at least one night of the week to comedy, and they're making money.
Mm-hmm.
The drinks are not cheap. They make a lot of money in their drinks, and they serve food. And admission is generally free. But even I have to pay. I have to buy a drink and a tip. It's well worth every penny.
If someone were to invite you to perform in Manhattan, would you go?
In Manhattan,
Yes.
well, although I live near Manhattan, I could easily figure it out because there's so many places. I would go on their websites and find out when their open mic nights are and what time and how to sign up. And right now, uh, if I could perform in Brooklyn, I must have performed about 200 times. And when I go to Chicago, that's not my plan. I'm going with a friend. We're gonna go. We're staying from a Monday to Friday. We have tickets for Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night with the Mets and the Cubs. Very close friend of mine named Ted. And if I wanted to find an open mic, I could, and I could perform in front of strangers who have Chicago accents, and I have a New York accent, and the material would work there.
Mhm. What is your goal when you're doing comedy? Do you want to make the people laugh? Do you want to make them feel good? Is there any delineation between the two? Or
There's
is
a
there maybe something else?
well, there's a direct association because laughing is feeling good.
Mhm.
And in these especially conflicted times with families over politics and with neighbors over politics and the economy and the wars that are going on all over the world, it's especially important to laugh. So that is my goal, is to finish up my 5 minutes. And I made a few people laugh. And I stay to support the others and want to laugh along. And my other goal, as we've talked about, is important to me that I stay healthy. And this is an important part of my health. Um, According to all my doctors, but all my friends and family and me.
Did
So
any of your doctors or your family, friends, uh, do they attend your shows? What's their feedback?
sometimes, sometimes, unfortunately, we moved to Brooklyn 6 years ago, and a lot of the people we knew, we still know, but they don't come to Brooklyn too often.
Mhm. What about your doctors? Have they ever seen you perform?
Um, there's tapes of me people have seen.
Mm.
As far as live, my daughter has come a few times, and my son-in-law. My wife has come a few times. Uh, some neighbors have come.
And they came
Um,
because you were there, right? They came
oh
because.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Uh, Others have said they want to come, but they don't come. I don't push anybody. I don't push, and I don't get upset if they don't come. They mean well. Uh, when I come in late at night, usually someone is photos of me, and I'll show the doorman, and they're still photos. Um, but I do have some video of me. Um, that you saw the clip of me here in New York, right?
Yes, and CPS
Yeah,
News. Yes.
yeah. So that had some of me, if you recall.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm very relaxed and comfortable up there. I've learned how to wait for laughter to die down and walk the crowd and um, make people feel comfortable.
What is
And
your advice for other comics?
well, you only live once, and if I can say, no matter how long I live, 100, 150, whatever. I did stand up comedy. I have no regret. And as I said, this week will be 2 years. I've done it for 2 years. And when I started, it was once a week. Now there are weeks I do 5, 6 shows a week. I'm out.
You're very
I'm
busy.
out.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Enjoying every minute of it.
I do. I also like today's Monday. Monday, I do 2 or 3 shows. And because of this is very important to me, our discussion. I couldn't go. And that's good. It gave me a break to refresh me. Next Monday, I'll do 3. This week, I'm I know I have one Friday. If I want, I could go tomorrow. There's a show in my neighborhood, and I might.
Yeah,
Then there's another one Wednesday. If I want to go, I'm not in the show, but I could watch it
right.
just to support it.
And learn
So I
from it
might. I
as
do.
well.
Yeah, and I learn and I support, and I become ageless to these people. It's they don't treat me differently because of my age. I don't act in a certain, I stand strong and tall and I do what they do. I just look older.
Your, of course, your doctors have given you a lot of advice about your condition. But is there any advice that you would give to others with Lewy body dementia that perhaps your doctors have not mentioned?
Yes, I've said this to you 3 or 4 times. Another excellent question. You're a very good interviewer.
Thank you.
Actually, we're going to extend the program tonight to 3 hours, okay?
Okay.
um, the advice. Wait, what was I lost the question. This is part of the Lewy bodies. I lost the question.
It's
You just saw it happen.
mhm, that no, it's when doctors they've given you a lot of advice about your disorder, how you could lead a better life. But
Okay.
you have lived with Lewy body dementia, and is there any advice that you would give to others with the condition that is
Yeah.
different from what your doctors told you?
Yes. And it's not so much my doctors, it's my own philosophy. And I'm about to say what it is, but I want to say one thing first. It doesn't apply specifically to only Lewy body dementia. It can apply to any malady, any disability, any illness, any issue, which is uh, find something enjoyable, creative, and keep your mind sharp. For one person, it might be drawing, artwork. For someone else, it might be writing poetry. Someone else, it might be playing chess or reading, or for an elderly person, I'm not elderly. For an elderly person, maybe joining the local Y where they have activities and games. But there's something, hopefully, there are people who are very limited. That's very sad. I'm not limited. But for people who are not limited, there's something that you could find to do. Crossword puzzles, going to comedy shows.
What
It's
about
really
those?
endless.
What about those friends of yours in the support group? Do they know that you do comedy, and do they ever come? Do they ever get a chance to go to some of your shows?
The support group is on Zoom. To give you an idea, the leaders, this woman, Norma Loeb, who's the head of the Lewy Body Association, I think on the whole East Coast, if not more.
Oh.
I just found out I've been in her group for 2 years or so. She's in Mexico. So I have people in Florida, people upstate, way upstate New York, perhaps in Chicago. So no, no, no.
Well,
But
if they're
they know I've kept it a secret. But once my friend contacted CBS and said, I have an idea for a story for you. And this woman, the reporter, Hannah Klieger from CBS, she's lovely. It's awesome. It's incredible. I want to do it. And then I felt I had to tell people. They didn't know. So Norma told the group, and I was fine with that. And I started telling some of the fellow comedians and the hosts because I didn't, I was going to be on television. CBS is CBS, right?
yes.
And I didn't want them to see it and that I had never told them.
Mm.
Yet I also didn't want empathy. So I'm glad I told some. I got some empathy. It may be uncomfortable because I don't feel sick. I feel strong and healthy and able to do this. And it's this will be a big thing that I'll continue to do because you can never run out of material. And I'm able to stand and I have, I'm clever enough to keep my eyes open and think about my past and teachers I didn't like or Hebrew school or, there's always a holiday around the corner. You know, I made a joke. You heard it actually because it was on the tape that I have a turkey waddle.
Hmm. Yes, explain that to us.
It's a loose skin from age. Can you see it?
Not really. It's not too bad. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I
make a
actually
joke
used
out
to
of
be.
that that
It's
that
not too bad at all.
during turkey season, hunting season, I've been shot at, mistaken for a turkey. See, it's the way you say it. You know, you could raise your voice a little, or you could get frustrated. But the concept of a man, a 6'1" man, being mistaken for a turkey and being shot at yet, it's funny. So I have a turkey waddle. I made something out of it. I can't keep repeating that joke because you can't. You just can't. No.
Mhm.
Uh, but there's always something. It's the humidity. I'm sure you have in Chicago as well. I know of your weather. We've had a horrible summer here in the city, in New York City. There's jokes about the weather. Um,
It must be hard for you to walk. Do you have to like walk in at night so that it's not less hot, or even at night it gets still the heat doesn't dissipate some of these days.
all my walks are in the dark
Mhm.
coming home.
Ah. Mm.
So there is a bit of an edge off, but you're right. Sometimes not enough. I have my water.
Mhm.
I have a rag or tissues.
Mhm.
I can stop and rest. Um, this is good and bad. There's a general area where a lot of the clubs are, and going there is an easier walk because it's down a slope.
Ah. Mhm.
However, the opposite is going up that slope late at night when you're tired. But I get home.
Mhm.
It's part of the health. The walking is an important part of the health.
Mhm.
I don't run. I have been a runner before, but I don't run. I'm not a weightlifter. My basketball days are over. So walking is thinking. Walking is people watching, um, observing life, um, and helping people. I've helped people on the walk. It's important to me to help. Is I know first aid and CPR, and uh, I've called 911. Um, I move over so people could pass me. So I'm very alert as to my surroundings. I'm
Mhm.
not an old man yet, so I'm ageless in that regard. It's a pleasure to do what I'm doing,
Mhm.
and to talk about it with you is very cathartic for me. I appreciate the opportunity.
Well, we thank you for your insight. It's very, very uplifting for people, very inspiring. And if our listeners want to learn more about you, first of all, I guess they would have to view that CBS news report, and then if you have any news that you would like to share with us, just send it along, and then we'll help you
I
share.
would be more than happy to speak to anyone. Um, if I don't know your policy, I could, the way I would prefer it is how you reached me. You contacted CBS, and the agreement we had made was what the same I'm offering too, which is I could give you my email address.
Mhm. Okay. What is your email
Hey,
address?
okay, you ready?
Yes.
It's the word glasses spelled in reverse.
Oh.
So it's SESSALG at optonline, OPTONLINE.net.
One more time.
Glasses backwards, you could say SESSALG, SESSALG at opt, OPT, on line, LINE, optonline.net.
And why did you choose that glasses spelled backwards?
Where do I get that?
Mhm.
Well, I've always had issues with glasses because I wore them from age 4 to 60 something when I had cataract surgery. And I had special lenses put in where I would only need them for reading. And I don't even need them for that too much. So I always had issues with glasses because a lot of kids in school at 4, 5, 6 were not wearing glasses. And when your glasses were off, you didn't look right. And people would say, put them on. If you got them knocked off in gym class, or if you just wanted to clean them. I grew up with a hang up about glasses.
Right. And then, of course, you also mentioned earlier that you got bullied because of the glasses, and that probably you remember that all your
I
life.
do.
Hmm.
And the reason it's in reverse is it's a very unusual brain thing I've been able to do. My father did it. My daughter can do it. I could say words backwards as quickly as forwards. I visualize the word and read it backwards. I'm not talking about 5, 6 syllable words. Those would be difficult. But common words, a name. So I combined glasses with doing it backwards and developing my email address. And no one else had it because I didn't have to add a number to it.
Yes. And what about what does Larry's in reverse sound like?
Eral.
Nice. Nice.
That's an easy one.
Yes. Well, Larry Lawrence, thank you so much for joining us. And so continue what you're doing. And thank you for being an inspiration.
Listen, I thank you. And if I've helped anyone, one person in Chicago or in whatever area can hear us, see us, it's thrilling. And I look at you and I enjoy this conversation so much. And I will say this, I got the better end of the deal. I feel so good talking to you about this.
Thank you
And if,
so much, Larry.
and if anyone wants to call me, I mean, email me, I will call them back. First or email, whatever they'd like.
Okay.
And I thank you for finding CBS so we could arrange for today's discussion. It was very heartfelt, emotional, and rewarding for me, and I hope others.
Yeah, I saw the report and I was wishing I hope so much that you would respond and give me this interview. So thank you so much, Larry Lawrence.
Good luck to you. And if you're at any of those games at Wrigley Field when I'm there, I'll see you then.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. Okay.
Go Cubs. They're in first place. Your Cubs are in first place.
Right.
Not the White Sox, but the Cubs.
Right. Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Bye.